This is going to be an installation video of the Danko Reproductions front and rear bumper filler set for 84 through 87 Grand Nationals and of course Regals of all two doors except for four doors. Anyway, we've got here a really nice car, and it's owned by Guy. He's the owner of the car. And he's going to tell us a little bit about the car first. Tell us a little bit about the car.
It's an 86 Grand National with 9,900 original miles.
Wow.
But the bumper fillers, as you can see, are shot to crap. And that's the best thing I could say. I mean, I tried to clean them and oil them up and do whatever I could, but there's really nothing else to salvage. So I researched some companies, and I got two kids, so I'm on a budget. And a good friend of mine who's doing a really nice GNX. I could say it's a clone, but it's going to be a pretty cool GNX clone. And he told me about these pieces, so I made my trip to Miami. Met the owner, a really nice guy. Helped me out, showed me how he did these pieces, and ended up buying them. It was $199, which I couldn't really pass up. And even if they didn't fit well, I could have fixed them, do some, or just kind of get some different. I had other options, but they were kind of expensive, so I went with it. And he was really cool. When I was drilling the holes, or before I drilled, I gave him a call. He told me what to do, and really stand-up guy. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Danko. Again, I have no affiliation with the company. It's just I'm on a budget and trying to keep this beauty, as I can show you, alive. Thing is all original, except you guys are going to see these two pieces here, which I'm trying to get the original. They kind of look cool with the chrome, but everything is here. Like I said, I love the car, so I'm on a budget, and I had them painted. And one of the body shops I brought to wanted like $400, but he said they were one of the best pieces, that they saw. As you could see, the holes were kind of notched, so you could pretty much know where you're doing the holes. He really looked them over. They didn't need any filling. So I took it to another place, which actually does Porsches and high-end cars, and he was pretty nice to do for $250. So here I am. I got him back, and we're gonna show you basically how we put him on and how everything fits, and if it does fit, this will be our
test mule.
A test pilot here, and I'll see if I just wasted $450 plus gas and my labor, Otherwise, it would be a great thing. I mean, as you can see, look at the back pieces. They're awesome.
They're straight.
Yeah, they're straight as an arrow.
Yeah.
Like again, the guy said it was one of the best things he saw out there, and he did quite a few of these. So I think he was thinking he was going to charge me a lot for the filling and everything, but he said it was really good. So here we go. Let's try this.
All right. So Guy's already removed the bumper and the old fillers. We still have all the bolts sitting here, which we're going to take out and just bolt them up. Okay, we're going to now put on the front bumper filler. Notice these are the little clips that come with the car, and these screws are what size? 9/32 screws, and we have our 9/32 flex socket, which is nice to have. Some 1/4-inch drive with a ratchet, flex handle. And one thing you should know is these things that come originally with the car to clamp down the rubber are not needed. You do not need to save them, and so we'll throw that out. These screws that go in the fenders, 4 screws. These are 10 millimeter, and they just bolt right on. Just got to climb under the car and bolt everything up, and let's see what happens. Here's a dry fit of them. Look pretty good. So Okay, make them a little more oval. to make sure. And I remember this one needed to come out a teeny bit. So we'll go ahead and get rid of it. A little looser. I'm not sure about if this needs to come over. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure it can go over. We don't really know which screw is holding it back. Doesn't really matter. All right. Okay, so now it's bolted on, and as you can see, it's truly a really perfect fit. It matches the body lines perfectly. And you should know that if you had a set of original rubber ones, when you tighten the bolts on the rubber ones, the center sucks in a little bit. It kind of warps because the rubber bows in, and they don't look nearly as straight as these. These actually look better than the original OEM ones because they don't distort when you tighten the fender bolts. As you see, just a little filing of the bolts took care of the problem. It is still hanging down right here, but we're gonna go to the store and get some bolts here to tighten that up right there. When we tighten that up, it's gonna be perfect. Okay.
Budget.
Okay, we finished bolting it up tight. Looks pretty good. Pretty much we put the headlight bezels in. And so far so good. I mean, you could always loosen the bolts and tweak it a little more, but this looks good enough. Here it is, all put back together with the bumper on. Oops. Okay, next we're going to do the back. Okay, now we have the back we're getting ready to install. There are actually 7 bolts on each side. There's 3 on the quarter panel, 3 under the taillights, and 1 screw for the license plate bracket. This is a very important screw. You make sure you drill the hole exactly where it's marked. All the other holes are negotiable. The most important thing is to make sure that this top bolt, that the bumper filler lines up left and right perfectly, and also this one. If you have to oval out the holes or file them to get a nice perfect fit on the side, that's what you want to do. Once these are tight, then you're going to go ahead and flex this bottom in or out to match the body. Okay, these 3 screws here, originally they're really to support the weight of the rubber from sagging. Of course, this is a rigid part, so it's not really going to sag, but mostly what the best thing for them is to just make sure that that they're tightened down so the fiberglass doesn't vibrate and make strange sounds and noises, but they don't do a whole lot on these parts. They're not that important. Okay. Okay, now we got the bumper filler on. The most important thing is that this top corner lines up perfectly with the rest of the car right here. And that this bolt is in good and tight, in the correct position. Don't worry too much about these top 3. They're not really, they don't do much of a job on the fiberglass ones. They're more for the rubber ones to support the rubber. All right. Okay, now we finished bolting it down. Okay, we finished bolting it down and it fits really nice. Notice we made sure that the light bulbs were all coming through the area that's made to come through. You have to have them above the bumper filler so you can plug them into the tail lights, which we're going to do next. Alright, so now we see the thing is bolted down, and as you can see, there is no gap behind the tail light. It's absolutely perfect fit. It follows the shape of the car perfectly, just straight as a board. There's no weird gaps under the tail light, and it's absolutely a perfect fit. And I don't think I could have asked for a better job than this. It's really good. So we're going to move on to the next side now. All right, we've got the back passenger side on. It's looking really good. One little note is that if you do have a gap between the lower part of the taillight and the bumper filler, the way to alleviate that is to tighten these bolts tighter, and that's gonna kind of rotate the whole back of the bumper filler upward, and it's gonna close that gap under the taillights. And you have enough adjustment. You just tighten them up until it's the perfect fit. And then what I recommend is put a little Loctite on these 3 screws so they don't vibrate loose. And you have plenty of adjustment there. And that adjusts the bottoms of the fiberglass so they rotate up and they close that gap if there is any. These little divots here are from the factory. They're supposed to be there even on the originals. And that's for clearance on the bottoms of the taillights. There's some kind of thing sticking out. All right, so once again, make sure you make sure all these light wires are above the bumper filler before you put the bumper filler on. Now we're going to put the taillights in. There is supposed to be an overlap here, right over left. If you have a little problem with them not sitting flush, then you can always put a little pop rivet right here or a little screw right here. It's covered up by the bumper. But in this case, we don't really need it. We have got the job done, besides putting the bumper on. And notice how perfect these things fit. The body lines exactly matching the quarter panel. They were designed to be perfectly straight, even though the originals aren't really, because they bow in. The originals buckle in when you tighten them. But these fiberglass ones are really straight. See that? The overlap, no screws, nothing, holding it down. It is good to put a little pop rivet here, though, I would. Because it's covered up by the bumper. No issues at all. Perfect fitment right out of the box. Now if you want to put some silicone in this gap, some black silicone, wipe it down with mineral spirits. It'll seal that, clean out the silicone as much as you can, and that'll seal that so you don't get any rusty drippings from the bolts dripping down, which can happen after it sits in the rain sometimes. The next thing was we're just going to put on, we're going to take these 2 bolts out and we're going to put on the license plate bracket, and then we're going to put the bumper back on. Alright, we've got the bumper, we're ready to bolt it on. We're putting some tape on the bumper fillers to protect the paint job, and it's good to have several people to support the bumper while people are putting the bolts on. Basically, there should be a gap up here. There should be a gap about 1/4 inch to kind of match the gap that's going to be on the side, because the bumper does go around the bumper fillers. There's about 1/4 inch air gap all the way around. So we're going to go ahead and bolt the bumper on now. Okay, we've got all the bolts on, and now we're going to wow, that tape's awful close. You really want to watch that corner right there. Make sure that bumper's not digging into that corner, and make sure there's a little bit of a gap there when you tighten the bolt up. And make sure that this gap is even on both sides. Should be about 1/4 inch on both sides. So we don't tighten the bolts all the way until
Let's break for better service.
Wait, do we have an Indian?
Okay, now we're just putting the license plate on. Make sure you take the license plate off of the license plate bracket, because that's the only way you're going to get this bracket on. And you have to take those 2 bolts out. If your bumper fillers drop down a little bit, just reach in from below and just press them back up, line the bolts up, tighten it up, and we are done. Ready? Alright, we are done. And it is looking a lot better than it was before. Really a perfect fit. Just like the factory, even better. Okay, we're finally finished with the installation of the bumper fillers. This is the final result. They look really great. Just notice how the shape of the body. It just really follows the body. Much better than the rubber ones. The rubber ones, they bow in when you tighten the bolts.
Well, here's the car, all done, using the Danko Reproductions body fillers, actually bumper fillers. Let's see, this is my first time. Listen, for the price, they were amazing. You know, it took a little bit of work, but as you could see, they look great. We had them painted, they match. Like I said, you know, a little bit of drilling, moving around, but also, as you can see, the two-piece, just like the original. They look amazing. I didn't spend a ton of money. Not that I'm cheap, but like I said, I got 2 kids, so I try to do something that was smart and that looks good. Of course, you know, I'm not gonna go and put junk on my car. The car only has 9,900 miles. Original, unmolested car, as you can see. You know, the thing, I take care of it. It's my baby. Except for my 2 sons. Those are my first babies and the wife. But this is my little weekend project right here. I'm really, really happy with the body fillers. You know, it was pretty cool to take the stuff apart. And they look great, man. I'm really happy. I'm really stoked. I'm going to take the car to shows. See how my friends like it. Really appreciate the owner of Danko Reproductions. Every time I needed a few questions answered, he came through, you know. Well, I want to thank Mo from Danko, helping me out with all this stuff here. Really cool guy, a lot of insights. Like I said, my first time, and it came out great. So I really appreciate it. And next gen I have to do this too. It will be his product. Take care and happy motoring, my friends.